What's going on, everybody? Just checking out a new area today. I've never been here before. I'm really excited for it. Where I'm at is a nature park just south of Bloomington. And there's a lot of really cool stuff here from what I understand. There's some caves. Hopefully we'll be able to check those out. There's some really cool waterfalls. Hopefully we'll be able to see them as well. So we're just going to kind of walk around down this trail here. You can see all these little rock outcroppings here. Always cool to see. I can hear the waterfall in the distance over there. I don't know if you guys can hear it, but it's off over there in the distance. Spreken de scheisse. We have a massive poison ivy here. There's another good sized poison ivy. See, we have wild ginger. We have Virginia creeper. Back over here are some Jack in the Pulpit leaves. You can see them right over there, those 3 trifoliate leaves. Have some mayaples, some ragweed. Kind of surprised to see giant ragweed in the middle of the woods like this. So I'm going to continue going down this hill. It's a little dangerous and really slippery with all these rocks. Ground's really moist. We've had a bit of rain over the past day or two. So I'm going to turn this off and I will get back to you guys. Well, what I thought was a hiking trail here was just, I guess, a little trail that some people have made to check it out. I got down there. It was a straight drop. It was a little too dangerous. Like, I'm talking a straight sheer face cliff. It was too dangerous to get my camera out and film. It was really slippery. I was holding on to some rocks just to stay stable. If we look here, that's always pleasant to see. So I guess Lyme disease is a thing here in Monroe County. Kind of sucks. However, this does not suck. Very, very beautiful Solomon seals. Got some really good size Solomon seals here, actually. These things are pretty good size. I'd say this one's probably about 2.5 feet. All right, so I'm going to keep walking this way instead of that incredibly dangerous hill. That thing was dangerous. I almost fell like 5 times. I haven't seen, well, never mind, here it is. I was wondering where the sign was for the trails. It's back here. So they got this nice little informative board here. Got your nice little boot cleaner. And then here's the trails. Those black squares that you see are observation platforms. We're gonna kind of walk around. I think it's only like 2 or 3 miles, so it shouldn't take too long. But it's a really, really beautiful day for this. I have the entire place to myself, which is great. With some very beautiful white violets, some very nice woodland violets. These are a wonderful native plant, and these are edible. I'm not going to pick anything here because I am in basically a nature preserve, so I can't actually pick anything today. But that's all right. I'm here just kind of walking around. There's a lot of them. There's some cleavers growing throughout them, and there's a lot of good stuff here. Of course, you know, you have the ever lovely Sanicle, the Canadian Sanicle. All right, so let's just go on down this trail here and take a gander and see what we see. I don't know if you guys can see it too well. I'll zoom in a little bit. There you can see the waterfall. Looks like the trail, that's really hard to see, but it's right there in the center of the frame, that little brown dirt streak, that's the trail. So the trail continues and goes on down there, which is good. Uh-oh, right here we have a cave. Really awesome cave. It's really cool. I can hear the echo coming back from the cave. I imagine this would have been used a long time ago, probably as a shelter, not only for animals, but for people as well. This would have been a really good spot. A natural ready-made shelter, help keep you nice and warm. Have a little fire out front here. Back in the day, don't do it now. But back in the day, if you had a fire here, man, that heat would reflect and you'd stay nice and toasty in the middle of winter. This would be a really, really cool place. I mean, there's the sign there. Well, you guys can kind of read it. Yeah, it looks like you can tell, obviously, people kind of climb under this and walk around. And while we're here looking at this, something I wanted to tell you guys. As foragers, we do spend a lot of time off trail. And most of us I know are very, very careful about trying to prevent erosion, and we're very careful about trying to prevent destruction. That's why we're foragers, is we care about nature. But when you're in a nature preserve, I really, really want to stress, follow the rules, guys. It's not that hard. And this doesn't really go out to my subscribers, but in case anybody watches this and, you know, just kind of finds it randomly, make sure you guys follow the rules and treat the places with respect. You know, a lot of our nature preserves and natural wilderness and ecosystems have been destroyed. And I understand people might think, well, what is a few steps going to do? Well, not much. But if a lot of people start doing it, it can start causing erosion. And so that's something to keep in mind. Now, speaking of protecting the environment, right here is Siberian honeysuckle, or Amur honeysuckle. This is a highly invasive species. So Bloomington City Parks needs to come out here and remove this. I'm seeing another one right over there. Seeing another one right there starting to bloom and flower. I'm seeing quite a few of them, to be honest. So this is another thing that we need to pay attention for. You know, we need to pay attention for this stuff as foragers, so that way we can inform the proper authorities in cases like this. Or, you know, if you're out on your own property, for example, you know how to remove them to help protect our native ecosystems. All right, so we made it to the waterfall. You can see, you might be able to see it barely through the trees. Right up there is the platform where we just were. And you see all this moss and lichen and things like that. You see all this water just kind of pouring right out of this hillside over here. Really cool waterfall. Now I can imagine hundreds of years ago and even thousands of years ago, these springs would have been a really good resource. Whoops. These springs would have been a really good resource for people. So they would have been able to come here and get some shelter in the cave and get plenty of fresh water. There you go, now you guys can get another view of the waterfall. Most of this place, from my understanding, is basically a gigantic hole in the ground. So it's really, really difficult to get into. However, I'm thankful that they have those nice little walkways to get down these steep slopes. Over here we have some sort of fungus. I'm not sure what kind. I'm not allowed to pick anything, so I'm not going to pick it and do a spore print or anything. But if any of you guys watching this, I know I got quite a few mushroom experts on my channel. If you guys know what this is, leave it in the comments. I'm sure other people would love to see what you have to say. There's more of this waterfall. It's a really big waterfall. Whole lot of down dead wood, of course. We have some sort of mushrooms growing out of this log. We can see some little ones starting here and here. You can see some more. We can see some more mushrooms starting over here as well. Here we have some really large bloodroot leaves. And over here we have some more wonderful flowers here next to some water leaf. I'm assuming these are both species of water leaves. We have a whole lot of water leaf species in Indiana, and I'm not terribly familiar with all of them. However, these are absolutely gorgeous to see. We got some more back over there. We're going to continue walking on down here, and I'll catch back up with you guys here in a minute. All right, so I got down to the bottom here. See this nice swampy marshland. All these lovely, lovely cattails. In a way, it's kind of a shame that this is a place where I can't forage, because the place that I used to harvest cattails from, they removed all, Indiana DNR had removed all of the cattails, mainly because they were drying up an important pond for wildlife. So I understand why they did it, but I miss I miss eating cattails because they're absolutely delicious. And I don't have many places where I can find them. But at least I can sit here and admire it. If we zoom in, actually, see if I zoom in here. You can also see a bunch of blue flag iris. You can tell they're iris by the way they're kind of fanning out. So there's a lot of iris and then there's a lot of these cattails here in this wetland. Really, really cool, and wetlands are incredibly important resources for wildlife. They support a wide range of animals and insects, and of course mosquitoes are everywhere, so not everybody loves wetlands. But this is really, really cool. And this kind of stuff really upsets me. I don't have any gloves with me or a bag because I can't forage here, so I didn't bring any bags. Otherwise, I would totally remove those as safely and sanitarily as possible, because Lord only knows what happened with them. But I'm going to assume someone got a little curious and went down there. Onward, men! And women, of course. Everyone's welcome here. No matter what you, yeah. So we're going to continue walking here, going down this. So I'm looking off to the side. We have some leaves of the blue lettuce. And we can see this is already growing up. Now it's called blue lettuce because it ends up with a blue flower. And this is one of the tallest plants that we have here in the eastern United States. It can reach heights of up to 15 feet. And I've talked about it a couple of times on my channel. Oh! I thought I just got peed on by a bird, but after smelling it, nope, it's just a water drop. Thankfully. Now, I have actually been peed on by birds before. It was terrible. Thankfully, I've never been pooed on by a bird, which I hear is actually supposed to be really good luck. Sounds kind of shisty to me. The ways of the woods are weird and many. I was hoping I would see a couple of more moist woodland plants that I don't normally see where I frequent. But so far, I've seen a lot of the same old. But doesn't matter because it's awesome just to be out in the woods and checking out new areas. Well, one of the great things about nature is usually there's always something cool right around the corner. Right over here, you see these stalks coming up here, these rather fuzzy leaves. This is wild comfrey. So this has already bloomed. And right here we can see the seeds starting here. We can see what's left of the flowers. If we look right there, we can actually see one of the old flowers of this wild comfrey. The wild comfrey is an amazing plant, widely used in Native American cultures for medicine, and European settlers as well would use this for medicine. Very, very amazing plant. Extremely difficult to find in some places in the United States. This is the very first time I have ever seen one. So if that gives you guys any idea of how difficult they can be to find. And again, that does depend on your area. All right, so we've seen a couple of really cool things. Saw a plant that I've never seen before in real life. Some people might be asking, well, if you've never seen it, how do you know what it is? I do a lot of research. And I'm always looking at pictures of plants. And I'm always trying to find new plants, of course, to further my skills of plant knowledge, which I also recommend everyone else to do as well. Because you never know what you're going to find. And if you get really, really good at it, you can actually start to be able to notice a plant from a distance and go, hey, there's that plant. I've never seen it in real life, but I know what it is. Oh my goodness. Kind of like what just happened there. So make sure you guys keep that in mind as you guys continue your foraging journeys. All right, so after a little bit more walking, we came to the other end of that marshland that we were looking at. What we were seeing was just right over there earlier. You can see this tower here. This actually used to be a reservoir, according to this here sign. Looks like it only lasted, well, not very long, about 30 years. 27, something like that. Any of you people who are better at math would be able to do that better than me. I'm not too good at math in my head. But here you can see some of the history of it. So this used to be a water reservoir for the town of Bloomington. and now it is just a marshland, which is actually important that we have marshlands again, because marshlands are almost all but extirpated in the state of Indiana. So it's good that we have some. I have a carpenter bee who will not leave me alone. He's trying to bluff charge me a lot. The funny thing about carpenter bees is they're big and they're scary looking, but they'll fly at you. They'll like dive bomb you in the face. That's all they can do. They can't sting you. they can't sting. So they do that to try to scare you away. It's actually kind of adorable and somewhat endearing because they're completely harmless and they're like, I'm so tough, I'm so tough. They're not tough. They're big babies. Right here we have this really large white oak tree. It's a white oak species based on the roundness of the lobes and the margins of the leaves. I'll zoom in here for you. You can see what I'm talking about there. This is a really, really old oak. I've seen quite a few big old trees here, which is always nice to see. There are a whole lot of trails here. It's actually rather confusing, but the good thing is, if you have a cell phone on you, which most people do nowadays, you will get Wi-Fi, or not Wi-Fi, you will get cell signal. So that's a good thing. It's not difficult to navigate, to be honest. As a matter of fact, yep, this is what I thought. Right here is the road, leads to the rest area. So I can just take this on. Sorry. I gotta learn how to swallow. Yeah, sorry about that. All right, now right here, this is a plant that a lot of people will confuse with common milkweed. One of the reasons is the leaf shape is nearly identical. And if I were to pull this off, it would lactate and spit out kind of a white, sappy liquid substance. Okay, but one of the best ways to tell is if you look at the stem, we can actually see that this is reddish purple in color versus your common milkweed will be totally green. So make sure you guys keep that in mind. This is dogbane. This is a poisonous plant. So make sure you do not forage this thinking that it's common milkweed. It will get you very, very sick. And here we can see a couple more. You can see what I'm talking about, that reddish, purplish hue all around the entirety of the stem, except for once you get towards the very, very top. Now, one of the reasons that people will commonly forage this instead of milkweed is they're going for young milkweed shoots. And whenever this plant's shooting, whenever it's only a few inches in height, it'll just be green. We won't have this reddish, purplish coloring that we can see here along the stem. And so people will gather this instead of milkweed. So I want to point that out to you guys, so that way you guys are aware what the differences are. Now, whenever you have the young shoots, one thing you're going to notice about your dogbane is it has kind of like this whitish bloom substance on it that rubs off with your fingers. Versus common milkweed is somewhat hairy, just very slightly hairy. And this is perfectly smooth stem. There's no hairs on this stem. So keep that in mind. All right, we're here at the little shelter house. Got some bathrooms over there. Here on the ground, we have what looks like, this is either a yellow or a white sweet clover. Without the flowers, the only way to tell the difference is to pick a leaf and crush it in between your fingers and smell it. If it smells like vanilla, then it's most likely a white sweet clover. Of course, we got lots of wood sorrel, yellow wood sorrel right here. Here we have daisy. We have ox-eye daisy right here. Really beautiful wildflowers. These are awesome to see. Always very, very, very pretty to see. This little slight meadow-like area here. There's a lot of clovers here, a lot of red clover, white clovers. A lot of really cool stuff growing here. Plantain, wood sorrel. We got a bunch of butterweed back over there. We got some dock, some curly dock right over there. Here, I'll zoom in. We got some curly dock right there going to seed. Yeah, a lot of really cool stuff here, guys. This is an awesome place. If you're ever in the area of Bloomington, I definitely would recommend coming down here and spending a couple of hours. There is a lot of trails, but there's one main trail that's a big loop, and there's a lot of trails that branch off of it. So it can be a little confusing, but it's not too difficult if you pay attention. You know, keep a good head about you, stay calm, you'll be just fine. And if for whatever reason you feel like you're getting lost, the cool thing is you should have cell service. I have AT&T and I get cell service out here, no problem. I was actually able to check and see at a crossroads earlier where I was, and I had a good idea, but I wanted to double check. So I was able to get service and know exactly which direction to go. I could see this, I could see the road that I'm on right now through the trees from a distance, just by the slight change in the trees. So that's something else you can pay attention to sometimes when you're out and about in nature, is you might be able to spot a trail or a road by looking through the trees, and if you see a gap that looks just too straight, it most likely could be a trail or a road. So that's a good little tip for you guys. I gotta hold my phone with my other hand. Arm's getting tired. Kind of gets tiring holding a phone out. They're not heavy, but man, anything gets heavy if you hold it out in front of you for 15 minutes. All right, so as I was kind of walking back after filming the Comfrey video, take a look here at this massive ant or termite. I am not quite sure. I am far from a bug expert. However, this thing is absolutely massive. Show you how big, there's my hand. Oh, look at that. That would not be a place you want to fall into. Thankfully, they have these little railings here, so that's pretty cool. There is, I guess, one of the other caves here on the park property. Man, that thing looks scary. Scary, scary, scary. I'm sure some of you guys on my channel probably love going caving or spelunking. You guys are some brave individuals. Not for me. Really cool though, nonetheless. I bet there's some really cool critters that have probably never made it out of there, that have totally evolved in that little ecosystem. Really, really cool. But I think that's going to pretty much do it for this video, guys. Hope all of you guys enjoyed it. I'm trying to do more vlogs because I know some of you guys really enjoy them. It kind of gives you the feeling of kind of hiking out in the woods with me. And I enjoy making them, to be honest with you. They're fun. It's a nice break from just plant identification all the time. Because I want to be real with you, kind of gets tiring doing the same old every time. So these vlogs are just a way to change up the pace. They're not going to be anything that I do. I'm not going to be a vlog channel, but I am going to be doing a lot more vlogs in the future. But that's going to do it for this one, guys. I will see you all in the next one.